and horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in his horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. This horn is America. Speaking great words, a horn. I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. That's America soon about to be destroyed and burnt. Also, when it speaks about the little horn, I considered horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. The first three horns plucked up were the Spaniards, the French, and the British. And then came the little horn, which is Babylon, but basically still has that iron in it, that Roman Empire in it. And behold, in his horns were like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. That's basically their media, their educational system, their eyes, their CIA, their National Security Agency, the eagle eye they got. If you've ever seen the movie Eagle Eye, they see all things. They got eyes in the sky. But this is speaking about America being burnt. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. It says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So when you hear people being antichrist, and you hear that word being passed around, there are many antichrists. There are many people who don't want this rulership to take place. They do not want the Son of Man, who is coming with the clouds of heaven, to have that dominion and glory and kingdom, and all people, nations, and languages should serve him. This beast and every beast that's been consented with them, and every beast before them, their rulership has been taken away, besides this last fourth beast. Now this fourth beast has knowledge of this. The beast, America, the Roman power structure, everything that revolves around the rulership on planet Earth, including the leaders that have consented with the Roman Empire and this second Roman Empire. They don't want this to come. They do not want the Son of Man to come with the clouds of heaven and destroy every single government on planet Earth. So that's when you hear of terms such as Antichrist and certain people that are contrary to the real truth of the Bible. It's speaking about the rulership that's soon to come. They don't want that rulership to happen. So basically what Daniel's vision was the same interpretation of his dream, of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, where the lion represented the gold, the bear represented the Persian Empire. This was the Greek Empire, split with 4 heads after Alexander the Great. Alexander the Greek died. This is the Roman Empire, the first one. Then the Roman Empire Part 2 that came up, and the little horn is America. America mixed with the all the rulerships, the NATO, the European Union. They're different, even G20 summits. A lot of them have everything to do with the beast and consenting with the beast and being anti-Christ. They're anti-Most High's kingdom. Basically, they want their power structure to stand forever. They don't want this. They actually have been deceived to believe that this fourth beast can last forever, but that's definitely not the case. I'm going to go further here in verse number 15. It says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So this is also another important scripture, Daniel 7:18, where it says the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So here in Daniel 2, when it says in verse 44, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, Daniel 7 speaks of exactly who this kingdom shall be left to. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Verse 19 says, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, breaking pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were on his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. That's America, who's more powerful, and they've been more strong than any empire that you can think of today. They can actually destroy entire nations with nuclear weapons, destroy peoples, millions of people at one time. He said, whose look was more stout than his fellows, and the horn that came up after the 3. This is talking about America. Daniel 7:21, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. So the Negroes and the indigenous people have been completely slaughtered by this American government. They completely have a stronghold over us still, in oppression and affliction and control over everything that pertains to us. Here in Daniel 7:22 it says, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So until the Most High comes, this fourth beast isn't going anywhere, which is soon. It happens in this generation, which is I'll go into another lesson. But here in verse number Daniel 7:23 it says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. The fourth kingdom has been completely different, because as you see in all 4, there was basically one power structure. It was just one nation of people, the Babylonians, the Persian. Well, Persian and Mede did have two different types of peoples, but one rulership was the Persian and Medes, raised up on one side because the Persians were stronger than the Medes. They had 3 ribs in his mouth, which was I believe Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon was the much flesh. And if you watch the movie 300, it shows how strong their army and how they devoured much flesh, because their military and their army was strong. In the day of Xerxes, it was at its highest. Here, the Greek Empire with the 4 beasts, 4 heads of this beast. I believe the wings represent how fast they obtained an entire kingdom. The heads were the 4 after Alexander the Greek, but this was still the Grecian Empire. This one has been a Roman Empire that fell off and was reestablished after the Renaissance era, and through the Vatican and the Roman Jesuits, they completely have stomped in pieces the residue of this world. They completely have a stronghold over the world. In America, with its oppression, they've used American military to completely control the world. Completely different, because it has 10 different rulerships in it, 10 different so-called white man rulerships. Now this book is so unbelievably perfect, and the Most High's prophets is so on point, that going back into 2,500 years ago when Daniel gave this prophecy, he gave perfectly an interpretation of the rulerships of this world. Because you can go into this fourth beast and how it was set up after the Middle Ages, or the so-called Dark Ages, and it came back. It shows perfection in the prophets, because it could have been any nation of people that ruled. It could have been Arabs, it could have been the Chinese, it could have been any other African nations, but it was the same beast that the Most High said would have rulership in the last days. As I said, this book is definitely the words of the Most High. There's no way possible any man could have wrote this book, or a collaboration of men, and make it manifest on planet Earth. And this is the 10 horns. This is verse 24. And the 10 horns out of the kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. This prophecy was given throughout Revelation as well. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it unto the end. This is America, the last of the beast, the little horn, the fourth beast, being consumed and destroyed unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So as I said, all rulership over this planet as of right now, they understand and know that this kingdom that is forever, which is a rulership, pertains to the saints of the Most High. These are the same saints who this little horn is completely worn out and destroyed. They completely destroyed, oppressed the Native Americans, the Negroes, the Hispanics. We suffer oppression and affliction by the powers that be because they have full knowledge of what's to come. And in order to keep that from coming, they've had to have a stronghold over our people and keep us away from the knowledge of exactly who we are and the knowledge how to worship our powerful strength that the world calls God in order to keep this kingdom from ever happening. But they've been deceived through prophecies and certain things that the Most High sent through the book to believe that there's profit in this, as if they can actually avoid this judgment and avoid this dominion being consumed and destroyed. But that's an entire different lesson, which I'll go into later, which pertains to the strong delusion that not just the tribe of Dan is under, but the world as well, as they have been deceived to believe that they can take away our dominion and our kingdom, which is to come. That's what it is to be Antichrist, is the fact that they think that they can stop the Most High's Son's kingdom from ever happening. I'm going to go further and showing and proving exactly what the Son of the Most High is coming to do. He's coming to destroy. It's the Son of the Most High, who the world knows as Jesus or Yeshua, Yeshaya. He's not coming to love everybody. He's coming to destroy. He's coming to destroy every nation of people. He is this stone cut out without hands that is coming to destroy kingdoms, and all of them, the seed of men who've been confederate against his people and against him and his kingdom. He's coming to destroy every single government on planet Earth. Here in 1 Corinthians 15:24 says, "Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign, till he hath put all enemies under his feet." This is the last enemy that shall be destroyed, is death. So basically, he is not coming to give high fives and hugs. He is coming to destroy and put down all rule and all authority and power. This includes the Jesuit stronghold over the world and the American oppression that they've been ruling over the world with their nuclear weapon threats and their sanctions. They've been that in itself proves who is the fourth beast. Is the fact that America is the one giving out sanctions to other nations, and no one has ever sanctioned America. This and their collaboration with the European Union and NATO, which are all part of the same infrastructure. So all part of the same rulership and structure set up by the Jesuits and the Romans. This is all the same beast. The Roman Empire, the iron, and then the iron and clay. They've actually collaborated with many nations. They've collaborated with any nation. If you go into 1 Maccabees chapter 8, it speaks of the nature of the Romans. They'll set up a kingdom for all those who are confederate with their kingdom. If you go into Psalms 83, it speaks of the crafty counsel here in verse number 3. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones, because the chosen people of the Most High are a hidden people, and the real truth of who we are is hidden. 83 verse 4, they have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." It said, "For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee." And it names many nations that have been confederate: the Chinese, the so-called different tabernacles of Edom, or the different houses of so-called white men. You're the Irish, the French, the British, the very many different tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Chinese, Turkish people. You got Africans, you have Philistine, you got Egyptians, and the Amalek, which is another tabernacle of Edom, specifically mentions Amalek for a reason, which I'll go into later. You got Africans who have all consented with this beast against us. So when it says he has mingled himself with the seed of men, he's talking about many nations that have been collaborated against